Scopolamine, the devil's breath. Down in Colombia, outlaws harvest this chemical from borrachero plants. They refine it into a pure white dust. Next, they toss it into your eyes. The following result is the most horrific chemical reaction recorded in current science. In just minutes, your autonomy vanishes. Not your awareness, just your choice. You stay alert, active, and absolutely submissive. Targets are widely known to be draining their life savings, giving away valuables, and assisting thieves to move couches out of their own apartments while looking completely ordinary to onlookers. This substance jams acetylcholine pathways inside the mind, scrambling memory creation and choices all at once. Targets regain senses hours later, possessing zero memory of the events. No pieces, no blurry flashbacks, total amnesia while staying highly capable. Medical centers utilize scopolamine in micro amounts for travel nausea patches. At illicit levels, it basically transforms you into a remote-operated person. Officials in Colombia record thousands of incidents yearly. This substance won't put you to sleep. It's darker. It forces you to comply. Krokodil. Desomorphine. Because heroin grew too costly across rural Russia throughout the early 2000s, addicts discovered a backup. They brewed desomorphine using codeine pills, petroleum, varnish remover, caustic acid, and the red phosphorus scraped off matchbook edges. This final mixture earned its slang title from how it damages flesh. Krokodil translates to crocodile. Addict's flesh becomes reptilian, stained, and starts decaying from the needle marks spreading out. The toxic brewing solvents are never purified away. They get shot straight into the bloodstream. Arteries perish, muscle rots away, skeletons are laid bare. Dead tissue spreads after just weeks of constant dosing. The rush holds for around 90 minutes, barely a third the length of heroin, meaning addicts shoot up constantly, speeding up the destruction. Typical lifespan upon starting habitual dosing was guessed to be 1 to 2 years. During its fight near 2011, Russia guessed they had beyond 100,000 Krokodil addicts. Whole medical floors were packed with victims whose skin was actually peeling away. This chemical provided a budget heroin replacement. The price was simply your flesh rotting away while you remained breathing. Bromo-DragonFLY. Typical hallucinogens hold for 6 to 12 hours. Bromo-DragonFLY persists for a full 3 days. That is no mistake. Just one hit will generate non-stop visions for 72 straight hours. This chemical is a phenylethylamine variant, titled for the outline of its chemical makeup, which looks like a winged insect. It is unbelievably strong. Effective amounts are weighed in micrograms, fractions of a milligram. The gap separating a safe high and a deadly hit is terrifyingly thin. The absolute scariest symptom is extreme blood vessel squeezing. This chemical restricts arteries so intensely that your limbs drop all blood flow. Recorded medical files show victims amputating digits, toes, and chunks of their arms to dead tissue following just one hit. The psychedelic journey might be wild, but your hands might not make it through. Taking too much triggers convulsions, kidney failure, and fatalities. Since the symptoms hold on so endlessly, doctors have a hard time treating victims who are steadily breaking down across days instead of hours. We have no cure. Bromo-DragonFLY temporarily surfaced across European street trade during the mid-2000s, repeatedly pushed as acid to clueless consumers. Numerous fatalities happened because of this false advertising. Flakka, alpha PVP. Flakka struck Florida near 2014 and instantly created the most psychotic news stories in narcotics history. Individuals sprinting completely bare through cars. A guy attempting to smash inside a cop precinct, yelling that vehicles were hunting him. A lady who dashed into the street yelling, "I am the creator." Alpha PVP is a lab-made cathinone linked to bath salts. It overloads the mind with dopamine and adrenaline, creating a condition doctors label as hyperactive mania. Core temperature shoots up past 105 plus degrees. The addict suffers from delusions, fake visions, and feels like they possess superhuman muscle. That last detail causes massive issues. Individuals in excited delirium truly cannot process agony. They push past stun guns. They snap metal restraints. It isn't true comic book power, but instead the total erasure of the human body's injury warning system. Your fibers can naturally produce much more power than usual.
Your mind simply stops it to save your joints and skeleton. Flakka deletes those safety blocks. This chemical runs roughly $5 a hit, gaining it the street name $5 Madness. Addicts frequently tear off clothes because their internal heat grows intolerable. The mix of severe fever, mental breaks, and total pain resistance turns every single run-in extremely deadly. Datura, Jimsonweed. All narcotic circles on the web share the exact identical warning regarding Datura. Avoid it. Not tread lightly, not begin with a small amount, simply avoid it. Datura holds tropane alkaloids, mostly scopolamine and atropine. Differing from fun hallucinogens, where consumers realize they're tripping, Datura creates actual psychosis. Consumers fail to tell fake visions from actual life. They carry on conversations with individuals who are completely absent. They puff on smokes that are invisible. They wander into the road chasing friends who are states away. The symptoms kick in 30 to 60 minutes post-swallowing and hold for 2 to 3 days. Eyes widen so massively that vision slurs for a full week later. Pulse rhythm turns terribly chaotic. Cottonmouth gets so bad that gulping feels agonizing. Experience logs read like ghost stories. Consumers recall dark figures, hordes of bugs, and ordinary visions so realistic they never notice anything is amiss. A frequent event involves sharing a casual conversation with a buddy, then seeing them fade into thin air repeatedly for 3 straight days. The weed sprouts naturally throughout North America. Every couple of years, high schoolers find it. ER visits happen next. We see 0 habitual Datura fans, just people who tasted it a single time.
Etorphine, M99.
Etorphine was engineered back in 1963 for a single goal: sedating massive beasts like elephants, rhinos, hippos, creatures where standard anesthetics would need buckets to function. Midnight 9 gets the job done in mere drops. It is around 3,000 times stronger than standard morphine. A tiny fraction of a milligram will drop an adult human. The substance is so lethal that animal veterinarians handling it pack the cure, buprenorphine, already loaded in needles on their bodies everywhere they go. Flesh exposure can be deadly, not just needles, mere contact. If you spill Etorphine onto your skin, you can soak up a deadly amount through your pores in moments. Facilities that stock it demand complete hazmat gear and a strict partner policy. No one handles Midnight 9 solo. In 2002, Russian military units deployed a similar chemical, Carfentanil, blended alongside an airborne sedative to finish the Moscow theater siege. They blew the vapor into the air ducts. It killed 130 captives alongside the bad guys. The measurement issue with mega-strong narcotics is that the space separating sleep and dying hardly is there. Etorphine holds no room.
Absolutely 0 party drug value. There exists no fun measurement. There is just asleep and there is deceased. DiPT, diisopropyl tryptamine. Nearly all psychedelic compounds warp sight. Acid creates glowing streaks. Shrooms make breathing textures on walls. DMT spawns geometric shapes. DiPT accomplishes something no other chemical attempts. It exclusively targets hearing. Your eyesight remains standard. Your logic stays fairly lucid. However, every single noise becomes warped. People's speech falls multiple tones, turning low and evil. Tunes become alien, twisted into something bizarre and off. Well-known tracks feel like they are echoing inside a horror movie. The tone drop traces a steady rule. Upper pitches fall heavier than lower pitches. Female speech turns into deep guys' voices. Kids echo like beasts. Your personal speech sounds like a completely different human. Cell calls turn bizarre because the warping affects every single thing you listen to. The symptoms hold for 8 to 12 hours. Certain consumers report lingering audio warping for days or even weeks post-trip. During odd scenarios, endless ear ringing starts up. You are playing roulette with your hearing network. DiPT is categorized as a tryptamine linked closely to DMT and magic mushrooms. Yet while those chemicals are heavily optical, DiPT somehow specifically hones in on hearing centers, and the science isn't completely mapped out. It ought to be impossible for a compound to so narrowly alter one single sense. DNP, Dinitrophenol.
DNP was initially a factory compound. Weapons makers during the First World War saw they dropped mass fast when working around it. By the 1930s, it got sold as a slimming capsule. Then, humans began perishing. The compound functions by breaking oxidative phosphorylation inside our cells. Inside healthy tissues, fuel from meals builds ATP, the human engine. DNP breaks this chain, shifting that fuel straight into thermal heat instead. Your fat burning goes crazy. Flab melts away. You actually bake from your core. The issue here is there exists zero stop button. Once DNP enters your blood, you cannot halt the cooking reaction. Core heat spikes to 104, 106, 108 degrees. Internal systems start crashing. Perspiration floods off your skin. Freezing tubs cannot chill you down quickly enough. Passing from a DNP overdose is labeled as one of the most agonizing ways to perish in medical science. The fatal amount shifts drastically among people. What triggers slight fat loss for one guy triggers liver shutdown for the next. There is zero method to guess your reaction. Even after getting outlawed for daily use many years back, DNP still flows in muscle-building circles. Annually, kids perish from consuming it. The chemical works for melting fat. It similarly works for ending your life. Jenkem. This one is true, even though it got popular mostly as a digital prank that ended up having real origins. Jenkem is rotting human waste stored inside jugs and left to putrefy. Addicts breathe the fumes created. The habit was initially recorded inside Zambia during the 1990s among homeless youths. They collected poop and pee inside plastic containers, sealed the top with a rubber bag, and allowed the slurry to bake under the heat. The foul methane and sulfur fumes generated were then huffed for a quick dizzy buzz. The symptoms supposedly feature optical and hearing fake visions, holding for roughly 60 minutes. The exact chemical pathway isn't highly researched, which makes sense. Not a lot of scientists are queuing up to study rotting poop puffing. During 2007, a fake cop warning regarding Jenkem abuse inside U.S. high schools became famous. News channels aired frantic reports. Nearly all of the U.S. perspective was made up. However, the initial African habit was confirmed by real relief groups. The actual narrative isn't humorous. It represents a mirror of destitution so severe that youths turned to breathing garbage for fleeting relief. The web transformed it into a meme. The truth hiding behind it is depressing. Carfentanil. Carfentanil makes standard fentanyl seem mild. It's 100-fold more powerful than fentanyl and roughly 10,000 times more intense than standard morphine. It was crafted solely for knocking out giant beasts, mostly elephants. A deadly human serving is roughly 20 micrograms. For context, a speck of table salt runs roughly 60 micrograms. 3 specks of carfentanil would end you. You cannot view a fatal speck with your bare vision. This strength spawned a police nightmare. Once carfentanil started showing up in corner drug batches near 2016, fatal overdoses jumped insanely. Buyers grabbing what they believed was pure heroin were getting something thousands of times heavier. Medics needed multiple hits of Narcan to counteract carfentanil emergencies, where a lone shot fixes heroin. Cops and lab crews needed to use toxic spill protocols when treating potential carfentanil. Brushing or sniffing microscopic bits during crime scene checks could be lethal. China acted as the main hub of illegal carfentanil before stopping its shipment in 2018. However, the recipe data remains. Manufacturing continues. 1 kilo of carfentanil might hypothetically create 50 million fatal hits. That remains the horrifying calculation of mega-strong lab opioids. Adrenochrome. Adrenochrome represents a genuine chemical. It's the oxidation result of adrenaline, created when natural epinephrine decays. You can buy it off science catalogs. It lives inside the human system naturally in tiny amounts. That's where the truth stops and the urban legends begin. Hunter S. Thompson brought up adrenochrome during Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, painting it as an intense hallucinogen gathered from breathing humans' adrenal glands. Thompson was writing a novel, yet paranoid forums treated it like factual evidence. The substance has been checked out since the 1950s. Some scientists, especially Abram Hoffer, guessed it could have a link to mental illness. Tiny tests hinted at minor mental alterations at massive amounts. 0 tests proved a massive psychedelic trip. The tests were inconclusive and mostly dropped. The crazy rumor states that the rich drain adrenochrome from scared kids, since terror-sparked adrenaline forms much stronger adrenochrome. There is zero factual truth here. Adrenochrome is easily made inexpensively in any science room. There is zero logic to extract it from people, even assuming it triggered something amazing. The actual chemical is medically boring. The fictional tale reveals way more about web paranoia bubbles than about actual science. Nutmeg, high dose. This item is resting inside your pantry right now. Nutmeg, the basic cooking spice, acts as a psychoactive agent at massive amounts. 2 to 3 entire nutmegs, around 15 to 25 grams, trigger symptoms that span from awful to truly hazardous. Nutmeg holds myristicine, which the system can transform into molecules mimicking MMDA, a stimulant-type hallucinogen. The kick-in requires 4 to 6 hours, which causes many rookies to swallow extra, assuming the first hit was a dud. The symptoms then stick around for 24 to 48 hours. That means up to 2 full days of psychosis from a baking ingredient. The ride is practically always defined as horrific. Massive sickness, intense cottonmouth, speeding pulse, extreme fear, fake visions that are not enjoyable. They feel confusing and terrifying. The aftermath drags on for days. Web trip files repeatedly painted as one of the most miserable narcotic events imaginable. The poison factor is true. Nutmeg overdoses push individuals to trauma centers every single year. Liver damage happens at massive intakes. A small number of fatalities have been linked to nutmeg poisoning across clinical records. Every new crop of youth realizes you can trip using nutmeg. Every new crop similarly finds out exactly why 0 people attempt it twice.